Hey guys, today's video is going to be about my experience getting pregnant at 16. Okay, so I'm gonna go through the story with you guys. I used to go in online chat rooms when I was 13 and I would talk to boys, and I did that for about 3 years, and then I met the father of my first child in an MSN chat room. Yeah, so we hit it off and we met, and at the time I was 16 and we met at my house. He came to my house and we basically just hung out. My dad was pretty much he was a party animal. He partied a lot and he was a good dad, but he didn't really monitor what I did. So my dad decided on Canada Day, which is like Independence Day in the States, he decided to go out and party, and he left my boyfriend in there alone, and we decided to try to have sex. So we had sex, there was no protection. It never occurred to me to use protection. I just really was just experimenting. After that, we started to have sex all the time, every time he came over pretty much. And I got pregnant the first month I had sex. Yes guys, it can happen to you. Fast forward to when I found out I was pregnant. So I was at a campground and I realized that I was actually late for my period, and I maybe thought that perhaps I was pregnant. So my best friend, who also was pregnant at the time, kind of ironic, I asked her to buy me a pregnancy test because we were camping together in campground with my dad at my uncle's campground actually. So she went and bought the pregnancy test, bring it back, and so I took the pregnancy test in a campground bathroom. And that is where I found out that I was going to be a mother. Honestly, I don't even remember the emotions that were running through me at that point when I found out. I think I was more just shocked than anything else, and I couldn't believe that this was happening to me. It just all seemed like a dream. And so I decided that I didn't want to have an abortion. I didn't want to opt for adoption. I wanted to have this baby. That was my final decision. So the hardest part about being 16 and pregnant was telling my father. I felt so much shame, humiliation, and fear when I decided to actually tell my father that I was pregnant. And I just remember feeling just so ashamed of myself that this was happening. And my dad surprisingly took it well at the time. When he first found out, he was quite calm, just very disappointed. But over the course of the next few days, he started to really pressure me to go to the clinic to look at abortion options. And of course, the more he pressured me to do this, the more I resisted it, and I really just was rebelling. And really, I was at the point where I just wanted to do the complete opposite of what he told me. Whatever he told me, I would do the opposite. That's kind of the stage I was in at that point in my life. My mother did not raise me. It was my grandma who actually raised me with my dad. So my grandma was involved in this as well. And when she found out, she was a lot more receptive to the situation. And she just basically told me, you know what, whatever you decide for yourself in your life is your choice, and you have to live with the consequences of your choice, and that's it. I felt her acceptance, which really helped in the situation. And then my uncle found out, and this is where it got really bad. He took me down to my basement and sat me down, and he basically told me that I would never amount to anything in my life because I was going to have a child so young. He told me that all my dreams of going to university, or, getting a really good career, traveling, all the dreams that I had for myself, they weren't gonna come true because I was having this child. He made me feel very hopeless about the whole situation. So that was my family's reaction. When I told the father, he didn't really seem to care. He was like, all right, I guess we're having a kid. He kind of seemed kind of indifferent towards the situation. Now the school I went to was an upper middle class school, so I felt like a fish out of water once I found out I was pregnant, because nobody in that school ever got pregnant, and it would have been really awkward if I had stayed in that school to graduate. So I decided to transfer to another school that actually had a daycare in the school, so that it enabled high school students to have children and still graduate on time. So it was, less awkward to go to that school. So in my grade 12 year, unfortunately, I transferred to this new school. The pregnancy went well. I stayed with my daughter's dad the entire pregnancy. Grandma helped me set up a baby room, and I lived with my dad for the entire pregnancy. I had my daughter in April, and I was able to graduate still with honors in June. There was no complications with the birth or the pregnancy. Everything went as well as it could have gone, really. What did I learn from being pregnant at 16? Whatever you decide in your life, you have to make your decisions right. I honestly was not ready to have a child at the age of 16. In no way was I ready. Not emotionally, not mentally, financially. In any way whatsoever was I ready to have a kid. Unfortunately, at that age, your thought process is not very logical. If I'm talking to a 16-year-old right now, the biggest piece of advice I would give is follow your heart and have faith in yourself. And even if you do feel like down the road you've made the wrong decision, you can make it right again, and all will be well. I don't want you to feel the shame or the humiliation or the fear that I went through. There's no need to go through that. It's not necessary. Make your decision, move forward, and have faith in yourself. So anyways, that's my story about being 16 and pregnant. I will do a second part of this video where I'll talk about being a teen mom, because that's a whole nother video. And this is going to be part of my personal experience series. I'm basically going to be talking about a lot of the personal life experiences that I've gone through. A lot of the topics are going to be very controversial, but you know what? These things need to be talked about. I know that there are other people out there who are experiencing the same types of things, and I just want you all to know that you're not alone. Okay guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.